A lot of people think that in order to problem solve, they have to think about the worst case scenario. And this is a myth that I hear almost all the time. And even though I can get a lot of my clients to the place of realizing, okay, Nathaniel, I understand thinking positive is a really, really great thing. And I'm going to think positive most of the time. But when I'm problem solving at work or other areas in my life, I'm going to just dabble with the worst case scenario and thinking of everything that can go wrong. And then when the problem's solved, I'm going to go all the way back to positive thinking again. But the reality is that we actually don't have to think of the worst case scenario in order to problem solve. If we're thinking about the worst case scenario, we often get a lot of stress and anxiety by anticipating everything that can go wrong. When we're in stress and anxiety, we're in a lower vibrational state. So we're in a survival emotion. It's a very black and white. It's very hyperbolic. We end up exaggerating how bad the imagined consequences are. Our energy is chaotic. We're restless. Our mind is racing. We're thinking of multiple different things tangentially at the same time. That makes it really difficult for us to buckle down and problem solve when we're in that chaotic, inattentive, emotional state. But when we're thinking about everything that could go right, we are thinking of the best case scenario, the potential of life to go the way that we want, our ability to overcome obstacles. It's a completely different frequency that we're tapping into when we're in a positive emotional state. And the good thing about being in a positive emotional state, especially when we're problem solving, is we have a lot of energy. We're really calm, we're really relaxed, we're able to think of the nuances in life, we're able to create from that place a lot more effectively. So, for example, I historically am just horrible at tech. I remember when I was getting really frustrated and annoyed by the technology not working when I was trying to learn this thing right here, Descript, a software program that I downloaded on my computer. And I historically am like really, really bad with technology. And I remember when I was getting so stressed about the technology not working, that all I wanted to do was just shut the laptop and go away and not touch it. I got overwhelmed at the thought of trying to learn it again because when I was in the worst case scenario, like, oh my God, I'm not going to learn this. These bad things are going to happen because I'm not able to figure this out. It literally paralyzed me where I just didn't want to engage in the work anymore. I didn't want to think about it. I didn't even want to work on it. And so then what happened was it dawned on me, okay, Nathaniel, really stressed about this. You're getting yourself all worked up and anxious about it. Take a deep breath. So I took a deep breath and I went into my room and I just did a little bit of active meditation where I visualized the best case scenario. So I visualized everything going right. That I was going to buckle down, open up my laptop, learn this new software. The software was going to go effortlessly. I was going to have a really good time doing it. I was going to get all of my questions answered. I envisioned myself using the technology with ease. And when I went to the best case scenario, the more I was able to color it in my mind with all of the details about everything that could go right, the more positive I started feeling about the future outcome. When I started feeling all these positive emotions by visualizing the best case scenario, my intuition started telling me all of these different things that I could do to make the best case scenario more likely to happen. So I was like, oh, wait a minute. I could just go on YouTube University and just YouTube videos on how to use this software. And I could do this and I could do that. So all of these ideas started flooding into my conscious awareness of what I could do to get good with the technology and learn the software that I wasn't even able to access when I was in the stress and anxiety because I just completely jumped into a different state of vibration, a completely different emotional state. I went on YouTube. I started looking up different YouTubers who were able to break down the software for me, and then I was able to figure it out with minimal effort. And all of those ideas came to me in a positive emotional state rather than being in the stress and anxiety of the worst case, which got me kind of paralyzed and scattered and just not even wanting to engage with it altogether. So if you think of emotions, The word emotion comes from energy in motion, emotion. So all emotions are just different levels of energy. That's why when we're depressed, we have no energy. We feel so exhausted, we feel drained. It feels like everything is like climbing Mount Everest just to do the smallest thing because we're just so drained. And when we're anxious, it's like a chaotic energy. We're restless, we're fidgeting, we're inattentive, we're kind of all over the place. So even if you're sick with the flu, stuck in bed, tired, or just not feeling well, and a friend texts you really good news, you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. You're like jumping out of the bed pretty much. You have all this energy when you're excited and happy, even when you're physically sick. The happier we are, the more energy we have, the more power we have. So positive emotions give us not just more energy, they give us more power and influence over our life than when we're in shame, anxiety, guilt, envy, jealousy, depression, etc. So if we're going to compare and contrast anxiety in the worst case scenario in problem solving versus happiness, peace, for example, in the best case scenario, the two don't even compare. In the positive mindset and positive emotional state, we have better problem solving and we have more energy to go and execute on the best case scenario coming into fruition. So we have more influence over the situation and we have more power and control over our life because we're in a positive vibrational state. The positive emotions always help us the most. And it's not like we're ignoring the negative when we're in a positive emotional state because we're still reckoning with the fact that things could go wrong. But we're seeing the potential in everything when we're in a positive emotional state. We're saying, I believe that I am able to overcome this. I believe that I am able to do this well. When we're thinking of the best case through visualization and feeling positive emotions rather than envisioning the worst case and feeling anxious, we are still working out problems. We're still problem solving, but we're doing it through a different prism by seeing what's possible. And we're able to have a much easier time executing.